Tommy loved candy more than anything in the world. He would eat candy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if he could. His mother always warned him that too much candy was bad for his teeth and his health, but Tommy didn't care. He just wanted to taste the sweet and sour flavors of his favorite treats. On Halloween night, Tommy was very excited to go trick-or-treating with his friends. He put on his vampire costume and grabbed his pumpkin-shaped bucket. He hoped to fill it with as much candy as possible. He said goodbye to his mother, who reminded him to brush his teeth before bed and not to eat too much candy. "Sure, Mom," Tommy said, rolling his eyes. He ran out of the door and joined his friends on the street. They went from house to house, knocking on doors and saying, "Trick or treat." Tommy was delighted to see all the different kinds of candy that people gave him. He got chocolate bars, gummy bears, lollipops, jelly beans, and more. He couldn't wait to try them all. He was so busy looking at his candy that he didn't notice when his friends turned to go back home. He kept walking until he reached a dark and spooky forest. He saw a sign that said, "Candy Kingdom." He was curious and decided to follow the sign. He entered the forest and walked along a path that was lined with candy canes. He saw trees that had cotton candy for leaves and licorice for branches. He saw flowers that were made of marshmallows and gumdrops. He saw a river that flowed with chocolate and a bridge that was made of gingerbread. He couldn't believe his eyes. He had found the candy kingdom of his dreams. He crossed the bridge and entered a town that was full of candy houses and shops. He saw people who were dressed as candy characters, such as a candy corn witch, a peppermint pirate, and a caramel cowboy. They all smiled and waved at him. They invited him to join their Halloween party. They said they had plenty of candy for everyone. Tommy was overjoyed. He thanked them and ran to the nearest candy shop. He saw shelves and jars that were filled with every kind of candy he could imagine. He grabbed a handful of candy and stuffed it into his mouth. He felt a surge of sweetness and happiness. He wanted more. He grabbed another handful and ate it. He felt even better. He grabbed another handful and ate it. He felt amazing. He grabbed another handful and ate it. He felt a sharp pain in his stomach. He felt a throbbing in his head. He felt a tingling in his teeth. He felt sick. He realized he had eaten too much candy. He remembered his mother's exhortation. He wished he had listened to her. He wanted to go home. He ran out of the candy shop and looked for a way out of the candy kingdom. He saw the candy characters who had welcomed him before. They were no longer smiling and waving. They were frowning and glaring. They said he had eaten too much candy. They said he had to pay for it. They said they had a trick for him. They surrounded him and grabbed him. They dragged him to a dark and scary castle. They threw him into a dungeon that was full of rotten and moldy candy. They locked the door and left him there. They said he had to stay there until he learned his lesson. They said he had to eat all the candy in the dungeon. They said it was his punishment. Tommy was terrified. He looked at the candy in the dungeon. He saw worms and maggots crawling on it. He smelled a foul and disgusting odor. He felt a wave of nausea. He knew he couldn't eat any of it. He knew he was trapped. He knew he was doomed. He started to cry. He wished he had never come to the candy kingdom. He wished he had never eaten so much candy. He wished he had followed his mother's advice. He wished he could wake up from this nightmare. He closed his eyes and prayed. He hoped it was all a dream. He hoped he would wake up in his bed. He hoped he would see his mother. He hoped he would be safe. He opened his eyes and saw. He saw his mother. She was sitting on his bed and shaking him gently. She said it was time to wake up. She said it was morning. She said it was November 1st. Tommy blinked and looked around. He saw his room and his things. He saw his bucket of candy on the floor. He realized it was all a dream. He realized he had fallen asleep after trick-or-treating. He realized he had never gone to the Candy Kingdom. He felt a rush of relief and joy. He hugged his mother and thanked her. He told her he loved her. He told her he was sorry. He told her he had learned his lesson. He told her he would never eat too much candy again. His mother smiled and kissed him. She said she was glad he was okay. She said she was proud of him. She said she had a surprise for him. She said she had made him a healthy breakfast. She said she had some fresh fruits and vegetables for him. She said they were good for his teeth and his health. Tommy smiled and nodded. He said he was hungry. He said he wanted to try them. He said he liked fruits and vegetables. He said they were better than candy. He got out of bed and followed his mother to the kitchen. He saw a plate of colorful and delicious food. He felt a pang of hunger and excitement. He picked up a fork and took a bite. He felt a burst of freshness and goodness. He wanted more. He took another bite and ate it. He felt even better. He took another bite and ate it. He felt amazing. He took another bite and ate it. He felt happy.